Major Slack Videos.
Well, yeah, the name is Slack. Thanks for coming back. Let's walk through some more Elden Ring. And I guess most of you have heard by now a humongous patch just recently came out. I think it was on Friday. Patch 1.07. Yeah, just absolutely humongous. The main focus of the patch was this: many changes were brought to spells, skills, incantations, weapons to encourage more versatility in terms of gameplay. I really like that. I think that's great. You know, like just kind of like encourage people to kind of try all different kinds of things. Problem with is this is running a late game prisoner build. A lot of the adjustments I hardly notice. You know, like the reduce the FP on a lot of spells and increase the damage on a lot of spells, and I'm looking at that going, I have to like start over a brand new sorcerer build just to kind of see what kind of impact a lot of these changes made. But there's one change in particular. First of all, let me show you balance adjustments of magic and incantations. Look at this list of upward adjustments for magic and incantations. This humongous list of all different kinds of things they made better. One thing that really surprised me is this here. Glintstone Pebble. They increased the attack power of Glintstone Pebble. Good grief. So now the elitists are going to be even more elitist. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Yeah, look at this humongous list of upward adjustments. You know, reduce FP, increase attack power. The list is just endless. So yeah, this is like basically broadening the appeal. I totally applaud this patch. One thing that really screwed me over with this walkthrough is a bug fix. Where is that? Right here. This really screwed me over because I relied on this a lot. I think I even talked about this. If somebody can remember where I talked about this in the walkthrough, where I was saying I suspected it might be a glitch, but I was going to go ahead and use it anyways. Anyways, this is where you, if you have a staff in your left hand and you use Rock Sling, as long as you could target an enemy, two of the rocks, like the center rock and the right rock, would always hit the target. This apparently was a bug, and they finally patched it out. Oh, for fuck's sakes. I can't believe it, because I use this extensively throughout the walkthrough, as many of you know. So this has been patched out, so this walkthrough kind of got screwed over. Don't worry, I'm going to finish it, don't worry. In fact, I got a little treat for you at the end of this video. Yeah, but, oh boy. Yeah, this really screwed me over. I used this on the Radahn boss fight. I used this at least half a dozen other places in the walkthrough. So, yeah. Anyway, them's the breaks. So henceforth, let me just give you an example of what I mean here, what this means here. I'm going to jump into the game and show you what this means. Okay, here's what was passed out with Rock Sling. Here we are at the Church of Ella, and I have a staff in my left hand. Alright, let's just use the meteorite staff just for like good measure. Okay, I have the meteorite staff in my left hand. Previously, before patch 1.07, as long as you could target an enemy. See that that Godric soldier way down there? Let's wait till he comes back on his route here. He's going to start coming back on his route. And I'm pressing lock on, trying to grab him. So the minute I can grab him, boom, we grab him. Okay? Previously, before patch 1.07, if you cast Rock Sling from your left hand, the center rock and the right rock would hit him. As you can see, they fall well short now. Not even close. See, they drop off well short. So that was a glitch, apparently, and they patched it out. That's what I call long distance Rock Sling. So no more long distance Rock Sling. They patched it out. So yeah, I made a mistake relying on that. So this walkthrough is somewhat screwed. I used that at least half a dozen times in some major situations. I used that in the Radahn boss fight. I used that in the Langdell Capital and a couple of mini boss fights there. So yeah, bummer. Yeah, I kind of suspected it was a glitch, but I took a chance. Henceforth, if there's anything, like for example, all left hand bonuses, I'm ignoring. I'm avoiding like the plague. For example, if you look at my setup here, I got the Carrion Regal Scepter in my right hand. What I was doing sometimes, not often, but sometimes in this walkthrough, if I was using a Night Comet spell, which is the Staff of Loss gives a bonus, a 30% bonus to the Night Comet spell. If you have the Staff of Loss in your left hand, you don't even have to cast Night Comet with the Staff of Loss. All you have to do is have it in your left hand, and you could cast Night Comet with the staff in your right hand, and that way you'd be getting, like, you know, you'd have the staff with the best sorcery scaling plus a 30% bonus from the Staff of Loss. So even though that has not been patched out, that's what I call a left hand bonus, and I suspect sometime in the future they're going to patch it out. So I'm not going to use that anymore. Same with Rock Sling. For example, if you used if you're casting Rock Sling from your right hand and you had the Meteorite Staff in your left hand, you get a 30% bonus to all gravity sorceries. So same dealio, you could have your best sorcery scaled staff in your right hand and then have the Meteorite Staff in the offhand, and this would be getting a 30% bonus when you're casting Rock Sling. Once again, I'm not going to use that anymore. Well, there's not much walkthrough left anyways. Walkthrough is going to be done before the end of the week, for sure. Yeah, so I'm avoiding all that like the plague. Anything that even has a hint of something that might not be right. For example, the Arrow's Reach Talisman. We've discovered that the Arrow's Reach Talisman actually increases the range of some spells as well as arrows. That, I suspect, is a glitch that they're eventually going to patch out. So I'm not going to use that anymore either. Anything that has just the slightest whiff of something that's not right, I'm not using. Because if they patch it out, it's just going to screw over the walkthrough. Alright, so that's that. Yeah, as far as all the upward adjustments, yeah, some of the elitists are going to be saying, well, you know, you guys who play as mages, you know, like this is certain Elden Ring elitism, which is such bullshit. Pardon my language, but it's such bullshit. You know, it's like if you play as a mage, you're cheesing the game. That is so stupid. Especially, okay, I'd just like to mention with the Elden Beast boss fight, I discovered that actually the Elden Beast boss fight is way easier as a melee character. Way easier. Specifically because you don't have to lock on. When you're playing as a melee character, when you're fighting the Elden Beast, all you have to do is get close to him and start whacking away. If you got a good build, you're gonna hit him because he's such a big damn target. So it was way easier putting together a no-get-good build and strategy for Elden Beast than it was for a mage. I've yet to put together a reliable no-get-good strategy and build to beat the Elden Beast as a sorcerer. So everybody's following this walkthrough, be prepared to switch over to a strength build, which is what I got cooked up for the Elden Beast boss fight to finish off this run. It's really easy, don't worry. I'm going to show you right now what I did. Beat him 4 times this afternoon with this strength build, and then tomorrow I'm going to show you something with the Carrion Grandeur Ash of War. A build you can put together. That's just for like everyday Elden Ringing, not for like specifically for the Elden Beast boss fight. And then we're going to take a run through Nokron Eternal City to get all the things you need to put together this strength build I used to beat the Elden Beast. And maybe, no promises, but maybe by the end of the week I might be able to put together a mage build to also beat Elden Beast. But I can't promise because that was tough. It's like when you're locked on, it just completely changes the game. You have to stay locked on when you're fighting Elden Beast as a mage. Otherwise, everything's gonna miss. Okay, here's the build I used to beat Elden Beast 4 times this afternoon in practice runs. So this is pretty solid, and this is what I would call definitely a no-get-good build. You don't have to do a lot of dodge rolling, hardly any at all. It's pretty much a no-brainer. It's a strength build, and I used, let me just show you everything here. First of all, I'm level 164, and vigor I set to 54, mine to 26. Actually, if you're respecking, this is what it's going to look like. Okay, this is with the benefit of Godric's Great Rune. Okay, so when I went to respec, and I put vigor at 54, mind at 21, endurance at 50, strength at 75, and that's it. Just those four. It's actually just three. Just vigor, endurance, and strength. And I put some extra points in mine because I wanted to be able to cast Flame of the Redmanes 6 times without having to refill. So that's it. And it's mostly melee. Here's the weaponry I used. I used the Clayman's Harpoon. I know not everybody got this, but you could easily use the Great Ape. Everybody's got that at plus 25, I believe, so you can use that. This is for the Radagon boss fight. This is for the Elden Beast boss fight. Everybody's got the Serpent Hunter currently at plus 9. You could bump it up to plus 10 and use that with the Somber Ancient Dragon Smithing Stone. And the only other thing that not everybody might have is this Golden Great Shield, which gives you spectacular holy damage protection if you put the Sacred Affinity on it. If you look in the middle of the screen, see holy protection is 85% holy damage protection. Alright, so what you would do is, but if you don't have that, not everybody has that. That was a random drop as well. I'm going to show you what you can substitute for that. Anyways, I'm going to go over all this at the end of the week. Hopefully. Maybe let's go over it right now. Because I might try to put together another build to beat the Elden Beast at the end of the week. See if I can put a mage build together, a no-get-good mage build, but that's been tough. What you do is, whatever shield you're using, like a great shield, I'm going to show you a substitute that you can use for this. You would put the no skill Ash of War on it, and then you would use the Sacred Affinity right down here. Okay, everybody's got this if you follow in the walkthrough, and that bumps up your holy damage. For whatever shield you're using, it'll bump up the holy damage a lot. Alright, so that bumps that up to 85% holy damage, and bump it up to plus 25 as well to get the best guard boost out of it. So the guard boost is 70. Alright, and I'm using the Demi-Human Queen Staff. Doesn't matter if it's improved or not, we're just using it for Scholar Shield. Doesn't matter how powerful the staff is for that. And the Clayman's Harpoon, that's up to plus 24 with the Flame of the Redmanes Ash of War on it. The same Ash of War that we used to kick Malekith's ass. Remember that? Where we cast Flame of the Redmanes twice, and it breaks Malekith's stance, and then you do a crit hit. With Radagon, you have to do Flame of the Redmanes 3 times and it'll break his stance, and it totally kicks ass. And I went and got the Mimic's Tear. Right here. Mimic Tear Ashes. Bump that up to plus 10. That was a huge help. As for armor, I just used scaled gear across the board. Okay, scaled helm, scaled armor, scaled gauntlets, and scaled greaves. This is the best holy protection I could muster up. You can get better armor, but I didn't feel like going for it. I felt I could get away with it, and I was right, I could get away with it. So this will give you pretty good holy protection. And as for talismans, I used the Great Shield Talisman. Everybody's got all these talismans. If you're following the walkthrough, you've got all these talismans already, right? You got the Great Shield Talisman, Haligdrake Talisman plus 2. We just finished getting that. The Pearl Drake, or the... Huh. Did I have the wrong talisman hooked up? I actually did the fight with the wrong talisman. Okay, yeah, it should have been this one. Great Shield Talisman, the Haligdrake Talisman, the Pearl Drake Talisman, and the Dragon Crest Shield Talisman plus 2. And your Mimic Tear. And I set the Flask of Crimson Tears. I put 12 for that, and only 2 for the Flask of Cerulean Tears. So basically this is a melee build. I can't believe I did all that without... I had like the wrong... Okay, so could he be even better? Okay, Okay, and that's the build. That's it. So basically to prepare... This is already done. I can't go in there anymore. I'm going to show you the fights in a moment. Okay? To prepare what you would do... Oh yeah, right. Holy Proof Dried Liver and Exalted Flesh. Everybody's got this. Okay, we went through the trouble to make a whole bunch of Holy Proof Dried Liver. Let me give you Holy Protection and Exalted Flesh. Have those ready to go. And the Flask of Wondrous Physic, you're going to want Strength Knot Crystal Tear and Spiked Cracked Tear, which increases your charge attack power. Alright, so when you get up to the door here, what you're going to do is you're going to take your Flask of Wondrous Physic. You're going to gobble down a Holy Proof Dried Liver. Use Scholar's Shield. Switch over to the Clayman's Harpoon or the Great AP with the Flame of the Redmanes on it, and go in, and you're going to cast the Mimic Tear. Mimic Tear costs HP, not FP. And then you're going to switch over to your Flask of Crimson Tears. You're going to have to drink that right away. And then I'm going to show you the fights and explain my strategy, dubbing and commentary on the fights. Okay? So, let me switch over to these practice runs and I'll show you exactly the strategy I used. I'm going to show you my very first time using this build against Elden Beast, and Mr. Fumblefingers beat him. I couldn't believe it. And I said, okay, this is it. And then I did like several more practice runs. Like I said, beat him 3 more times, 4 times altogether. And I'm going to show you one practice run where I finished off with 6 leftover Flasks of Crimson Tears. Okay, so this is a solid run. This is a solid strategy. Alright, let's roll that right now. Alright, this is my very first attempt at Elden Beast with this particular strength build. And I beat him first time. No kidding, my first attempt. It's ugly, and Mr. Fumblefingers took a big part in it, but I beat him. And after that I said, okay, this is the one. This is after struggling with a mage build trying to beat Elden Beast and having like just a pitiful success rate. And this is like, you know, first time it's like, okay. So, out goes Mimic Tear. Drink down a Flask of Crimson Tears to recover your health, and just block. This build is all about blocking. Okay, you're not going to dodge, you're going to block. Notice I could tank most of his attacks, and here I just mistimed the Flame of the Redmane, so I took some heat. Took me down almost to within an inch of my life. Don't forget, this is my first attempt, so it's kind of like not really used to this particular build. Flame of the Redmanes broke his stance. Critical hit. And then I'm going to go for Flame of the Redmanes right away, but I blew it. Mr. Fumblefingers blew it. Wasted some precious time there. And it took some heat. You can do guard counter with this build too, because you can block most of his attacks. Broke his stance again. Critical hit. Flame of the Redmanes. Flame of the Redmanes. And here comes the super hammer attack. See how I tanked this attack? See how little damage I'm taking? Here comes the mega attack. Still haven't taken very much damage. And my Mimic Tear is just going crazy. And I ran out of FP, so I had to drink a flask. And we finish him off. Took some heat finishing him off. Went for the grab. Here comes this major grab, and he grabbed my Mimic Tear instead. There, I finished him off with a Flame of the Red Maze. Double chug to get my health back up. And quickly switch over to the Clayman's Harpoon. Usually I like to chug a Exalted Flesh before going into the Elden Beast boss fight, but I don't think I had a chance there. Now, as soon as I went into the Elden Beast boss fight, I locked on because that was my strategy at that time. But this is a bad move. Don't lock on. And the first thing I do is a strong attack and a charge attack. Rush right up against him. Strong attacks, charge attack. And then here, that was pretty much the end of my plan because I had no plan. I was kind of like trying out this build for the first time. And now the only strategy I have is to stay as close to him as possible and hit him with whatever I can. Either a jump attack, a strong attack, or a charge attack. Or just stab him with your shield up. Here's the charge attack, doing lots of damage with that Serpent Hunter plus 10, which scales with strength. I think it's A strength scaling. Here I dodge this sword swipe. I should probably do a slow motion version of this, of the next fight, just to give me time to kind of explain his strategies and explain his moves. Here he's going to do the giant, what I call this the Elden Ring attack. The Wiki has a different attack. He goes way up in the air, then he makes these super giant holy circles, and you have to run outside, jump over them. And here I didn't get outside fast enough. There's kind of an explosion when the circle kind of shrinks in. It shrinks in and then explodes. I didn't get it out fast enough. See how he tanks it? Well, I didn't actually tank that attack. And trying to get close, keeping my shield up and just stabbing away. Best thing to do, if you can, is to get behind him. Try to get behind him. If you can't, though, just get close and attack him with whatever you got. Chug-lugging. Get close. Here comes the charge attack. Do a lot of damage. And then nail them with another charge attack. And here comes what I call the Rain of Hell. It's kind of like this downpour of holy stuff. And it targeted my Mimic Tear, so I was lucky. And you can see, once again, I'm still locked on. This is a bad move. Here I actually broke his stance. I was so surprised that I just kind of like, you know, it took me by surprise and I didn't get around for a critical hit fast enough. A couple of charge attacks and he's almost done. Another charge attack. See how I'm running my shield up all the time? I'm going to tank all his hits. That's the whole thing. Tank his hits. See this? I rolled through that one, tank that hit, get close, charge attack, finish him off. And here come the authorities because I kicked his ass the first time with this build. That's it. That was my first time with this build. Now, what's coming up next is after I've refined the strategy a lot. First thing I learned is don't lock on, okay? Lock on to Radagon, don't lock on to Elden Beast. The only time you want to lock on is when he does the Reign of Hell. And then you run sideways, because it kind of helps you to kind of like stay oriented. So here we go, Flask of Wondrous Physic, Holy Proof Dried Liver, Scholar Shield, switch over to the Flame of the Red Mane's weapon, whatever that is for you. Go in, we're going to cast Mimic Tear. And this is the run where I ended up with 6 leftover health flasks. Out goes Mimic Tear. Immediately guzzle a flask of Crimson Tears to recover your health. And I threw out a Flame of the Red Mace because sometimes he rushes you. So I was trying to catch him. See how he tanked his hit? And tanked it again? Yeah, this is great protection. Flame of the Red Manes. Flame of the Red Manes. You only have to hit him 3 times. And I'm doing guard counter anytime I can. And he went after my Mimic Tear and broke his stance. And here I couldn't get around fast enough for the critical hit. And my Mimic Tear kind of blocked the way. This is typical, it doesn't matter though. Block his hit. He's going after the Mimic Tear. So whenever he goes after your Mimic Tear, Flame of the Red Manes. Broke his stance. And once again, I couldn't get around fast enough when my Mimic Tear blocked the way. Doesn't matter. And I managed to roll through that one. Flame of the Red Manes. Block. Got a guard counter on that one. And whenever in doubt, just stand close, put up your shield, and stab. It's going after my Mimic Tear. And I tried to do a Flame of the Red Manes. And I only later realized I'd ran out of FP, so now I have to drink a flask of Cerulean Tears, and my Mimic Tear finished him off. I switch over to the Serpent Hunter. There I took the Exalted Flesh, see? So I'm now all ready for the Elden Beast. Now, this time, not gonna lock on. Okay, don't lock on. Run up to the side, get close, and strong attack, charge attack right away. Then run around behind him again, do the exact same thing. Strong attack, charge attack. There, quarter of his health down already. And then run behind him again to avoid any further damage. This is like, I've kind of like, well, I have very much refined my technique. Not perfect, but refined it. Now he's doing like the Elden Ring attack, where it's like he goes up in the air and forms this giant holy circle. You got to run outside and hop over that ring, and then it blows up. And as soon as you see that big flash, you knew it blew up. Here comes the Reign of Hell, and it targeted my Mimic Tear, so I was lucky. Here comes the sword swipe, but I rolled through it. Another sword swipe, and I hopped over it. And I'm trying to get some jump attacks in. Get close, jump attack, stab. Here's like, whenever you're close and when in doubt, just stab. If you run out of stamina, roll through that. Jump attack. Charge attack. Get close again, roll close. Stay as close as you can all the time. And I got whacked. Drink up. Charge attack. Roll close. And here I broke his stance, and instead of running around to do a critical hit, I decided to just do a whole bunch of jump attacks and then I follow up with a charge attack. Sometimes it's, you know, get more damage like that. Here comes the Elden Stars attack, and it went after my Mimic Tear. And here comes the Reign of Hell. I like to call it Reign of Hell. I thought it was the Elden Stars attack, so I'm like, with the Elden Stars attack, best thing to do is run like as far away as possible. Then I realized this is the Reign of Hell. And here comes the second time he does the Elden Ring thing. It's 3 rings instead of just 1. I should probably do this in slow motion so I can have time to describe my strategies. And once again, rolling close. He has this like 2 sword swipe attack, and then the third one is a slam, and he got with the slam. Charge attack, and here comes the Reign of Hell, and I got caught in that. I took one for the team. I knew it was coming. Drink up, and always run close. Here comes the 4 sword swipes. 3. You could tank these. You can block them. See how little damage? If you block them, you take very little damage with this particular build. And here comes the attack that I'm not quite sure how to deal with, but I managed to deal with it there by simply jumping over it. Did a big charge attack, and he's almost done. And he's done. And that's it. Ended up with 6 leftover flasks of Crimson Tears. That was my best run. And I could easily refine this strategy even further, but I'm happy with that. Okay, here we go. Slow motion replay, so I don't have to rush the commentary. Come up to the front here. Flask of Wondrous Physic, which is loaded up with Strength Knot Crystal Tear and the Spiked Cracked Crystal Tear, or Spiked Cracked Tear, which gives you a bonus to charge attacks. Take the Holy Proof Dried Liver, Scholar Shield. Switch over to your Flame of the Red Mane's weapon, whatever that is for you. In you go. First thing you're going to do is you're going to spawn your Mimic Tear, and then because the Mimic Tear costs 660 HP, not FP, HP, you're going to have to refill with your Flask of Crimson Tears. Then you're going to lock on, and what I did usually with my refined technique is throw out a Flame of the Red Manes right away, because often he rushes you, but it's a complete crapshoot what happens. So out goes Mimic Tear, switch over to a Flask of Crimson Tears, guzzle up a flask, and then I throw out a Flame of the Red Manes just in case, because often he rushes you. You can often catch him. I don't even wait for it. It's just like a preemptive attack. This time he didn't fall for it, so. And then block, 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 because you can tank a lot of his attacks. Watch this. This is typical. He throws out his Radagon Spear. Keep blocking, it'll knock you back. Don't worry, see how little damage I took, and it'll blow up once it sticks in the ground. It sticks in the ground and blows up. Boom. And see how little damage I took? That's the strength of this build. Block, block, block. Now he's going after the Mimic Tear. Whenever he goes after the Mimic Tear, Flame of the Red Manes. Rush up close, do a Flame of the Red Manes. It takes 3 Flame of the Red Manes to bring him down. 1. And sometimes your Mimic Tear will do an attack that'll bring him down too. There's 2. Typically have time to do 2, and then he retaliates. And right after the second one, always block. And this is the thing, when you're blocking, do a guard counter, but my guard counter is not fast enough against some of his attacks. So he managed to get an attack in between my block and the guard counter. But keep blocking anyways, no matter what. You can tank a lot of his hits. And now he's going after my Mimic Tear, I believe. No, he's going after, this is another block. And now he's going after my Mimic Tear. So this is time for a Flame of the Red Beans. And it broke his stance. Now here's what happened. My Mimic Tear kind of blocked I wanted to get around and get a critical hit, but I kind of couldn't get around fast enough. And my Mimic Tear kind of blocked it. That's okay. Keep that shield up. No matter what kind of devastating attack he's got loaded up, you can tank most of his hits. That is, you can block them and take very little damage. And here's he's doing the mega fly up hammer slam. There's a way to roll through this, but I have a very low success rate for that. So usually I just spam roll away. Whenever I see him fly up and raise his hammer like that, spam roll away. And then I'm going to rush up close. Flies up in the air. Keep that shield up no matter what. See that? Get close. He's going after my Mimic Tear and Flame of the Red Manes. It's doing damage anyway. See how much damage it does, even if it doesn't break his stance. And another one. Keep after the Flame of the Red Manes whenever he's after your Mimic Tear. More damage. And one more should break his stance. Boom. Down he goes. Now once again, my Mimic Tear blocked my ability to get a critical hit. I'm running around trying to get a critical hit, but he's in the way and I couldn't get to him fast enough. Not only that, but the Mimic Tear is hitting him, which kind of shortens the time to do a critical hit. Keep that shield up. He's doing a major hammer slam, so I trying to roll through it, and I managed to pull it off. I'm not very good at this. This is not really about getting good, which is about dodge rolling around all the enemy's attacks. This is about blocking. Occasionally I roll just kind of like out of instinct. Here comes another flame in the red mains. Up goes the shield because he's coming after me, it looks like. And whammo. And see how little damage it took? Because I had my shield up. And here I tried to retaliate. I think I lost the lock on, or either that or you kind of like flinched out of the way. And now I'm just stabbing with the shield up, which is something. When in doubt, just stab with the shield up. Once again, blocked his attack, took very little damage. And it took a little hit there. My stance is broken, but I managed to get my shield up again. Once again, took very little damage. See that? This is all about blocking. That's why I say it's a perfect no-get-good build. You don't have to dodge, roll around all his moves and figure out what he's doing. Dodge this way, dodge that way, according to what move he's doing. Just block. Block, block, block. And stay close and attack him as much as possible. When in doubt, just stab him through the shield. Now I'm like whenever he does that kind of spray hammer attack, I kind of roll to the side, hoping that he'll target my mimic here. And here I rushed forward to do a flame in the red mains, not realizing that I'd run out of FP. So I could have finished him off easily here had I realized it. But in the heat of the moment, I just kind of plumb forgot. Did the flame in the red mains and nothing happened, so I lost some precious time there. Now I'm waiting to see what he does. Drink up a flask of Cerulean Tears. Took run for the team. And now we're going to finish him off. There we go. Finally drank up. And I think the Mimic Tear finished him off. Yep, he's done. Now I'm quickly switching over to my other weapon, the Serpent Hunter plus 10. And if I can, take an Exalted Flesh right away. So that I get a 20% attack bonus as soon as I start the Elden Beast boss fight. And I didn't refresh my health because I felt pretty confident I could get away with this. Now, first thing you're going to do, don't lock on. Rush up on the right side. Not straight at him, but on the right side. And then curve in. Get close. Strong attack, immediately follow up with a charge attack. And you'll spin around. Like, watch this. There's a strong attack. Do a charge attack right away. Before he can, like, recover, he'll spin around again. So you save time. There's a charge attack. Now run back to his tail again immediately. Because he's busy doing the Cloud Burst attack. See, there's the Cloud Burst attack. The Cloud Breath attack. Get back to his tail again. Do the same thing. Strong attack. There's a strong attack. Immediately follow up with a charge attack, and your character will see doesn't bother to recover, he just spins around again, so it's like a double spin. And there you go, a quarter of his health right away without taking a hit. That's what all the speedrunners do. I took a page from their book. So it's a perfect way to start the Elden Beast boss fight, and then run back to his tail again to avoid any damage. And now it's a crapshoot what happens. You gotta watch him, but typically my strategy is to run straight at him unless otherwise advised. So now I'm running straight at him in hopes of doing either a jump attack, a strong attack, or a charge attack, depending on the situation. And it looks like he's going to rise up and do the Sky Ring thing. I call it the Elden Ring attack. So he's rising up. So now's a great time to take your buffs. Take another Exalted Flesh, take another Holy Proof Dried Liver, because you got time. And what happens is he puts out this big giant ring, and the giant ring slowly closes in. And when it finally closes in, it blows up. Now, what you could do, here's another really advanced strategy, is point yourself to the north. This is something I recently figured out. And you got to jump over the rings, you see? Jump over that ring, and watch for the flash. When you see the flash, you know it blew up. Watch for it. There's a flash. See that? Now you know it blew up, now you're safe. But when you see that happen, what you should do is point yourself to the north, because I essentially ran in the wrong direction. So when you see the Elden Ring thing, the first Elden Ring attack, point yourself to the north and run straight in that direction. So when he comes out of it, you'll be right there, right like on top of him. And here comes the rain of hell attack. Fortunately, it targeted my mimic tier. The thing to do to avoid this is to run. Typically, I run back a bit and then run sideways. And I saw immediately that it targeted my mimic tier, so I'm safe. Now I'm going to run straight at him. Okay, I'm just running. And I rolled through that. That was just instinct out of like doing the mage build so many times. You have to do a lot of dodging with the mage build. And I rolled again. No, here I did a jump attack. This is something I do. When I get close, I always do a jump attack because often his sweeping sword attack will miss when you jump over him. So you like get two birds with one stone. You jump and he misses and you get an attack in. So now I'm close. Jump attacks. And he looks like there's a chance to do a charge attack. And here is just spamming stabs. And he shot away. And same thing, keep after him. Here comes a sweeping sword attack, and I'm going to roll through it. That was instinct. You can block those easily. If you don't feel comfortable rolling through it. Once again, getting close, do a jump attack just in case another sweeping sword attack comes. Typically it's two sweeping sword attacks and then he slams the sword down. And now I'm nice and close and I feel comfortable, so I'm going to do a charge attack. Got some nice damage out of that. And now he's doing the cloud breath attack. He sucks like some yellow shit out of the ground and he starts spewing it out. So get nice and close. Do a charge attack or a jump attack, whatever you can. When you're really close to them, the best thing to do is just spam roll towards them. Because a lot of his attacks will miss you if you do that. And I got caught in the tail end of his cloud breath attack. Took one for the team. And my mimic tier is stabbing away. And once again, I'm close, so I'm just spam rolling towards him. Drink up. I don't think I actually took my flask. Anyways, it did a charge attack and I got away with it. Rolled towards him. That's always the agenda. I'm nice and close and I broke his stance. Here's where I broke his stance. Instead of going for the critical hit, I just did a 2 jump attacks and a charge attack. Because I wasn't sure if I could get around for the critical hit. I often miss it with the Elden Beast. So there's jump attack. 3 jump attacks. Because you do a lot of damage with just like, you can either do a critical hit or 3, like a bunch of jump attacks and a charge attack. And I got away with all of them. If you're really good, you could do a couple jump attacks and then run around and get the critical hit, but I'm not that good. And as always, whenever possible, chase his tail. There's the Elden Stars attack. And it went after my mimic tier, fortunately. This is the one you want to run away from. Like, just run straight away from him. If it's coming after you. And now I finally drink up. And here comes the Rain of Hell attack. Which I mistook for the Elden Stars attack. And now I'm running away as if that's what's happening. Only realized at the last minute it's actually the Rain of Hell, and it's coming after me, not my mimic tier. So it's going to start coming down on me. I realize it, and then I start running sideways, which is the best thing to do. Always run sideways when that Rain of Hell comes down on you, and most of it will miss you. And if you can, this is the ideal time to lock onto him, because it will make you kind of like run around in a circle around him and keep you at the same distance. And now, because his health is really low, the Super Sky Ring Elden Ring attack is now a 3-ring attack. So now you got to jump over 3 rings instead of 1. So I'm trying to get close. And I think I took damage on the first one because I kind of flubbed it. Jumped over the second one and just kind of... The third one just kind of nicked me a little bit. Anyways, I really suck at dodging and all that stuff, so I don't rely on it a lot. I just do it when I can. It's mostly blocking. My Mimic tears down for the count, and same thing, runs straight at him. Here comes the sweeping sword. I rolled over it, and he swings back again. Typically, here he's coming back. Missed that one because I was rolling. And then he does a slam, and I think the slam got me. But once again, always when you get close, attempt a jump attack. And the slam got me because I wasn't close enough. But it doesn't matter because he has a long recovery time after that double sword swing and slam. So I drank up, got close, and jump attack. Swing and a miss, keep pushing forward. Keep pushing forward towards that tail. When you get close to a jump attack, and if you can, follow up with the charge attack. Here comes the charge attack. Did some great damage there. And I knew that Rain of Hell was coming. I knew it was coming, but I decided to take one for the team because he was so close to death. And I had full health. So he's almost done, and I know I've got a lot of flasks left. This is typical when he's like, when you got a lot of flasks left, and you're doing good, he just goes apeshit. So you gotta watch for this, eh? When you get him close to death, get very aggressive, because don't let up. Get very aggressive. Here comes the 4 arc swing attack. The first 2 I tried to roll through and I missed, and he staggered me. But you can easily block these. Watch this. I'm gonna block the next 2. Watch. Block. Watch how little damage I take. See? So block those if you can. The only drawback is that when you block them, it slows you down. So if you can roll through them, try to roll through them. And the time to roll is when he swings his sword. As soon as he swings his sword, roll forward. And typically you'll miss it. And if you can roll through them, you'll be that much closer to him before you can recover from this attack. So it's preferable to roll through, but if you don't feel comfortable with that, just block them. And once again, keep pushing forward. Here's this giant sweeping sword attack that I'm not really sure how to block or avoid, but I managed to jump over it and get close enough that it didn't do any damage. Here comes the charge attack. And now I just do a double stab to finish him off, which is a great thing to finish him off. If you're close, just get that shield up and start stabbing away. I tried to do another charge attack and I missed. And now I'm just pushing forward. Roll forward. Get that shield up. Stab, stab, stab. Took one for the team. Here we go. Stab. 1. And the next stab's going to kill him. That's it. And I had 6 flasks. 6 health flasks left over. My best run against him with this particular build. So this is solid. This is a good build and a good strategy. Great no-get good build. You don't have to read his every move and dodge it just the right way. Just block, block, block. Occasionally roll if you can, but it's not necessary. Just block. Block and get as close to him as possible. And now we're going to go back to real time. And I'll show you how the game ends with this particular ending. And that pays a whopping 500,000 runes. And here I'm just taking, even though there's no money there to take, I just want to get rid of the lost money marker. And there we go. I got 6 health flasks left after that fight. My best run with this particular build. And I'm gonna rest, recover everything, and go back and end the game. And here I'm just going to turn on the music, because I always have the music turned off in video games, but here's a golden opportunity to turn the music on for the end. And here's a cutscene after you fix the Elden Ring. Only 28% of PlayStation players have beaten the game, and only 19% of PC players have beaten the game. Yeah, the endgame achievement stats are pretty low.
The fallen leaves tell a story of how a tarnished became Elden Lord. In our home, across the fog, the lands between. Our seed will look back upon us and recall an age of fracture.
We are Elden Lord. And that's it. That's the end of the game. The end credits roll. So, coming up tomorrow, this is a video I already have prepared before patch 1.07. A little Carrion Grandeur build. You're going to get the Carrion Grandeur Ashen Board, which I end up not using. But you'll be probably very interested in seeing that. And then we're going to take a run through Nokron, the Eternal City, and get the Mimic Tier Ashes and all the Ghost Glovers you need to upgrade it to plus 10. And they're going to show you how to get a shield, a great shield that is a good substitute for the shield, the golden great shield that I had that I was lucky enough to get. This shield doesn't have quite as good holy damage, but it doesn't matter. It's about 10% less holy damage, but I did all these runs with the wrong talisman hooked up, so there's 9% extra holy damage negation that I was missing. So in effect, it's the exact same. This shield I'm going to show you how to get, which is easy, you just have to buy it. It's going to give you the exact same protection that I had with this run without the Pearl Drake talisman, which you're going to put on because you're not going to forget like I did. Okay? So, and then everyone's already got the Great Ape at plus 25. You could put the Flamer Red Mains on that. Everybody's already got the Serpent Hunter at plus 9. Just upgrade it to plus 10. And you're good to go. So just use these strategies. And I'll show you how to get all that stuff. And if possible, I'll try to put together a mage build to beat Elden Beast. Although my success rate with that has been very, very poor. Typically because you're dealing with him at mid-range and he doesn't give you much of a chance to counterattack. That's the biggest problem. Radagon is no problem. You can wipe him out with Comet Azure. Elden Beast, he never gives you enough chance to do Comet Azure. Even Rock Sling is too slow. He just doesn't give you enough time in between his attacks to counterattack. That's the biggest problem. So I'm still kind of strategizing exactly how to work that. Like I said, my success rate with that is pretty low, so you're better off with the strength build. It's just way easier. I'll try, but I can't make any promises. Alright, so that's it. Thanks a lot for watching, and if you thought this was remotely entertaining and or informative, you know what to do. Give me a thumbs up. subscribe, post a comment, and I'll see you next time for some more Elden Ring. Coming up next too, after this, in case you're wondering, a Vagabond challenge run is going to follow this, alright? Kick-ass Vagabond challenge run. I've been working on this for weeks. It's going to be really great. Alright, thanks for watching. See you next time. Hey guys, real walkthroughs like these are an endangered species here on YouTube. For a complete lowdown on the YouTube video game walkthrough scene, check out my Patreon page and please consider making a donation to yours truly, Major Slack, to help keep real walkthroughs alive on YouTube. You can donate as little as $1. That's $1, that's all. That's all it takes, alright? Thanks a lot, really appreciate it.